There we go. So once again, my name is Michael Santoro. I'm the Director of Policy Research and Housing Support for the State of Connecticut Department of Housing. This is a public meeting in support of or with regard to the State of Connecticut's 24-25 Annual Action Plan for Housing and Community Development. I want to thank my staff, Laura Watson, Connor Quinlan, Ben Lovejoy for attending. This is the public's opportunity to provide comment, ask questions, or just provide overall context associated with the department's annual action plan in support of the 5-year consolidated plan for housing and community development. I will share my screen very quickly. And if I can get a thumbs up when you guys can see it. Thank you, Laura. As you can see, the agenda is very short. We're going to do quick logistics. I will do a short overview of the annual action plan and highlight our priorities. And then the floor is open to any and all public comment. Once we start the public comment opportunity, we ask that you focus on the plan itself first. And then if you also have questions about the department, what we do, how we do, we can take those in a more general format after the fact and after everyone has had a chance to comment on the plan. That being said, let me do this so that it can be easily seen. All right. So if you have comments when we open the session up, if you're on the phone, just unmute yourself and we'll let us know and we'll recognize you. If we have people in the meeting itself on video, you in Teams, you can actually raise your hand. So in short, this plan is intended to talk about the 6 formula grants that are administered by the Department of Housing on behalf of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, those being CDBG, RHP, or Community Development Block Grant Recovery Housing Program, CDBG Small Cities, or the Community Development Block Grant Small Cities, HOME, or the Home Investment Partnerships Program, NHTF, or the National Housing Trust Fund, ESG, Emergency Solutions Grant, as well as HOPWA, the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. If you can see the chart in front of you, RHP, Home, CDBG, Small Cities, and National Housing Trust Fund are all anticipated to be funded at approximately last year's allocation. Since we do not have a final formal federal budget, HUD has not issued our formula awards as of yet. We hope that they will settle on a formal federal budget shortly and issue formula grant numbers so that we can actually submit our plan to HUD for approval in time for the start of our program year on July 1st. But we shall see. In the meantime, looking at the chart in front of you, we anticipate about $31 million in RHP, Home, CDBG, and National Housing Trust Fund, and that will be leveraged by just under $500 million worth of state resources. In addition, ESG and HOPWA, as well as some pass-through funds from the Department of Social Services, valued at about $110 million, will be leveraged by around $100 million worth of state resources. And those are predominantly targeted at the emergency shelter, homeless, and homeless diversion systems throughout the state of Connecticut. Our priorities continue to be to continue to prevent homelessness through efforts associated with outreach, security deposit guarantee, rapid rehousing, shelter diversion, coordinated access, permanent supportive housing, and others. In addition, we continue to focus and fund our emergency shelters, as well as provide youth transitional living opportunities. We continue to require all emergency shelter and homeless youth providers to enter information into the federal HMIS system. This allows us to track what is going on in the homeless world across the state of Connecticut and understand how we relate to homelessness across the country. I'll skip down to some of the other aspects that we are required to cover. Homeless subpopulations, again, we're talking predominantly about individuals with disabilities, physical, mental, or otherwise. We continue to prioritize assistance through the permanent supportive housing initiatives, as well as through our sister initiative, the Balance of State Continuum of Care. DOH, as the lead agency for housing, receives a significant amount of funding through the continuum of care, and we pass it through to the local not-for-profits for their administration. We continue to work to preserve and increase the supply of quality, affordable rental housing available to low and moderate income households. We work to preserve and increase the supply of affordable homeownership opportunities as well, predominantly with our state resources, but in coordination and collaboration with a number of our sister agencies, including the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Continue to prioritize and look for opportunities to promote adaptive reuse, as well as transit-oriented development across the state of Connecticut. And finally, we continue to preserve and revitalize our existing affordable housing stock across the state of Connecticut. We have about 15,000 state finance units and roughly 17,000 federally financed units that are aging and need to either be replaced or brought up to current housing standards. We continue to eliminate barriers to affordable housing through a wide variety of initiatives, including a significant amount of federal dollars for that purpose under the fair housing line item in our budget. And we continue to work with our sister agencies, the Department of Education, the Department of Social Services, the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Children and Families, the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, as well as others, to continue to promote and address housing needs of low and moderate income households across the state of Connecticut. On that, I will stop. Again, the plan is available. It was emailed out with the link as well as with the original notice for the public hearing. It is available on the department's website and will be for the next 30 days, during which time we will take written comment on the plan. And that comment can be in support of, in opposition to, or specific comments or recommended revisions to that plan. We will take any and all of those comments and look forward to receiving them. As of this moment, we have one participating member in this call, and you called in. Sir or madam, the floor is yours. Comments, questions, concerns about our action plan. How can we help?
Hello, thank you. Yes, I had to call in because I'm at work, so I wasn't able to utilize Microsoft Teams. So I'm currently a homeowner in Bridgeport. I'm involved in my nonprofit, Sisters at the Shore, so we do a lot of community work. I'm a grant writer, so I'm very involved. But my question about this program is specific to helping people. Well, I like the fact that we're helping people afford housing, and of course, you know, whether they're homeless or in public housing. But what program helps existing homeowners who are struggling not just with their mortgage, but even home remodeling or rehabilitation? Are any of these funding programs addressing that need, or is that something that a person can find that assistance?
Sure.
Because in the community, I find that that's a big need for existing
Sure.
homeowners.
So a couple of things. First of all, there are some of the programs described in our action plan and in our larger 5-year consolidated plan. But for up-to-date information, you can and should visit the department's website at www.ct.gov/DOH for Department of Housing. But with the specific items you identified, to aid new homeowners, there are a number of homeowner assistance programs. They're administered through CHFA, the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. We are the driver, if you will, of those programs, but they're better positioned to administer those programs directly. Specifically, I'm talking about time to own as well as the down payment assistance program. Um, and those help people get into new home ownership opportunities. We continue to build home ownership units, both with CHFA and independently. But what you're really talking about is how do we get people into the homes? Those loan programs, those extremely low income loan programs, or in some cases, diminishing loan programs. That is, they go to the buyer as a loan for a 10-year period, but diminish over time and essentially convert to a grant after the end of 10 years. Um, that helps people get into homes. With regard
Mm-hmm.
to rehabilitation, um, the city of Bridgeport, as well as all of our other large cities, have
Mm-hmm.
direct funds from HUD called Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. Our funds, the CDBG Small Cities Program, cannot be used in those larger communities because they get a direct allocation from HUD. Our funds are limited to communities, generally populations of 50,000 or less. But the city of Bridgeport, in your case, or all of
Yes.
our 30 odd entitlements here in the state of Connecticut, get a direct allocation from HUD, and many of them, if not all, use them for homeowner rehabilitation type activities. You can and should look to the city for information on how to access their programs. Now, that being said, we also um, run programs through our CDFIs, what are called Community Development Financial Institutions. CDFIs are basically not-for-profit lending institutions where we give a block of money to, and they then make individual homeowner loans. And depending on what your need as a homeowner is, there are a number of tools and a number of different CDFIs which may be of assistance to you. You can simply do a search for CDFIs on the internet. If you don't know which one services your area, in the Bridgeport
Mm-hmm.
area, there's actually two. There's the Housing Development Fund, or HDF, as well as Capital for Change. If you go to either one of their websites, they can describe for you those programs that are available to help individual homeowners. And those are generally um, specific to a given category of activities. And let me spell that out a little. Capital for Change, for example, has a number of energy related programs between the Energy Conservation Loan Program, HEAP, heating. Oh God, what does HEAP stand? I can't remember what HEAP stands for. It's HEP, um, as well as other types of energy related loans. In addition, both Capital for Change and the Housing Development Fund have programs related to hazardous materials remediation, lead paint, radon, asbestos, etc. Um, Finally, they also provide um, low interest loans for general rehabilitation, um,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you're located, what your specific financial situation is. So I encourage you, um, at least visit CDFI or the Capital for Change websites for information on their specific programs. And we, the state of Connecticut, fund many of their programs directly. That is, we give them a big block of money, and they deal with individual homeowners like yourself to help them maintain their homes. At the same time, they do multifamily loans to other area not-for-profits. So if your not-for-profit, for example, owned a 3, 4, 6, or 8 unit property, CDFI, any one of the CDFIs do loans to organizations like that to help them maintain those properties. When you get to the bigger properties, 10 to 12 or larger, we look for those applicants or those not-for-profits to come directly to the department through what is called our development and engagement process, or the DEP. Information is available again at our website, under funding opportunities. So please,
Okay.
our
Yeah.
website is a
Hmm.
wealth of information on programs, opportunities, and activities that can help you maintain your home or help you and your not-for-profit input into your community.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, that was one comment I had. So I'll definitely be able to pass on this information. I also just like I read the paper a lot. I know people go to the website, but how do you feel that the wider community is going to find out about all this program? I guess they'll find out through other social service programs, but say how is this message being reached so that people can use the funding? You know what I mean? And do they only find out if they go to the website or again through the agencies that the housing funds?
So information is out in a wide variety of media, including
Hmm.
the social media platforms. We are on all of the social media platforms. We push out information regularly. We also use community-based organizations to push that information out to their constituency groups. So if you are and represent a not-for-profit, I would hope that your not-for-profit is one of our community partners. And if it is not, please send us your organization's contact information, email, etc. And when we issue informational notices, funding opportunities, etc., we outreach to our community partners with information, and we ask that they share it with their constituency groups. So we don't do a lot of newspaper publication, although we do when we seek public comment. But we find that the best mode of information transmission is you, the not-for-profits, the organizations that are in the communities, talking to the residents of our communities and making those opportunities known.
Okay, sounds good. All right, perfect. So I'll definitely maybe send an email to
Fantastic.
I don't know to
If you
you
would
or to.
send it to
Send it to
Laura
me.
Watson,
Okay,
laura.watson at ct.gov, laura
okay,
dot watson at
okay,
ct.gov. We'll add you to
okay,
our community
perfect,
partners list, and we'll be happy to include you in everything that we do
perfect,
going forward.
perfect,
All
perfect.
right.
And
Sounds
can I
good.
get your name
Sounds good,
too, just
Michael.
for our
Oh,
record?
yeah. Can we get your name for the record, or
Sure.
the name
My
of your
name is
not-for-profit?
Yeah.
Yeah. My not-for-profit is Sisters at the Shore,
What is
and
it
my
again?
name is Allison. Sisters at the Shore. So we
Oh,
started as a group that prays at the shore in Bridgeport, but now we've actually branched out to we offer workshops for trauma because Bridgeport is an undeserved, community where
mhm.
we have a lot of gun violence. Well, gun violence is all over, but we focus on healing and trauma workshops, helping our community to just kind of deal with their day to day life and better way of dealing with it. And so we do all types of workshops. We also do domestic violence workshops. Again, just offering any kind of support that we can to the communities. So we see a lot of homelessness and just people just despondent and people are angry. You guys know what's going on in the world, but nonetheless, I'm part of that group. So we hear what people are looking for, and housing is a big thing for a lot of people. Then keeping the housing is another piece of it, because once they get in it, you want to make sure they can afford it and uh, just even upkeep it in a good way. So. hmm And my
That's
name
Very
is
good.
awesome.
Allison.
All
Hmm.
right. Thank you, Allison. It was
So
a pleasure.
thank you and your team. And I'm going to get off the phone now because I got to get back to work. But I'm glad I was
Understood.
able to participate, and I'll definitely you know send an email, and we'll look forward to hearing more about the programs and hopefully getting some good participation from people.
Wonderful. And thank you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Okay, have a great day.
You too.
You as well.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
All right. Well, it is about 10:22. I see no one else in the lobby. So we are going to wrap this up. So Laura, if you would, thank you for your assistance.